You are listening to Midlife with Courage. This is where women in midlife come for inspiration, motivation, and sometimes a little education to help them live more boldly. Don't forget to hit that follow or subscribe button so you don't miss an episode. Now let's get started. Hello, everyone. I am Kim Benoit, and I'm doing it solo this week. And as I'm creating this upcoming workshop and some other things, I've taken some time and really thought about how I lost my voice or how my voice became quieter, or maybe it was always quiet and it is now being brought out into the world. And one of my favorite phrases is do your own research. So I've been trying to think about how does this start? How do we get to this point where we don't want to say what we need to say or want to say? We keep ourselves quiet, we shrink, we minimize. And I'm thinking about how this all started. And I don't know why, but I think it's important to understand, not to blame or judge anyone, including myself, but to identify it and be aware of it. So moving forward, because we're always moving forward, right? Making sure that I don't fall back into those old patterns. Before we continue, I want to ask, what if the reason you've struggled to reach your health goals isn't a lack of willpower, but a lack of strategy? That's why I'm excited to introduce you to Stephanie at Renew Wellness. Stephanie is a wellness strategist who believes most people don't have a motivation problem. They have a strategy problem. Conflicting advice about diets, exercise, and wellness can lead to information overload, making us feel overwhelmed and wondering what actually works. Instead of handing you another plan to follow, Stephanie helps you build a personalized wellness strategy through her Wellness Roadmap program. She'll even guide you through the Clifton Strengths Assessment to uncover your natural strengths so your strategy fits your life, not someone else's. And she doesn't just give you information and send you on your way. Stephanie walks alongside you, providing guidance, encouragement, and accountability, because she wants your health journey to become part of your success story. If you'd enjoy the support of other women on a similar journey, she also offers a women-only cohort experience. So if you're ready to stop chasing information and start following a strategy designed just for you, connect with Stephanie at renew-wellness.com. So thinking about it, as I was a kid growing up, oldest of 4 kids, I was the responsible big sister. I got the good grades. I was very focused on grades, and I think it's because I was rewarded for getting the A's, and that was one thing I was good at. So I focused on that, which also for some reason meant that I didn't want to make waves. I don't know if that has anything to do with the grades, but I think just the situation of who I was around kept me quiet. I didn't want to draw attention to myself. I wanted to put my head down, read my books. I love to read. I still love to read. And I would take a book and read, and that's probably why I got pretty good grades. I didn't want people to really notice except, those rewards when I did get the good grades, I guess. So that's one thing. I think maybe just because I was the oldest and was expected to be responsible and mature, and that's just the role I took, and that's the one I stepped into, and I carried it throughout my life until not too long ago. And then thinking again about relationships, and I think we all do this, whether we're male, female, young, older. We want the person that we're interested in to like us, which it sounds very simplistic, but that's when you boil it down to it, that's what it is. We look at the other person and assimilate to them, try to match them a little bit. And I guess it's thinking back, it's an energy. We want to match their energy. So if you're with someone who's very quiet, very calm, you want to match that, even though maybe inside you're thinking, oh my goodness, I want to just bust out. I want to do all these things. But because of the person you're with, you don't. And not that that's a blaming issue. I'm not blaming anyone for that. I'm not saying that that was me exactly. But when we think about when you're brand new to a relationship, you're trying to discover what the other person likes and what their expectations are. And there's always a little bit of, I'm going to kind of mold myself into what they want kind of situation. And I truly believe if you do that so much, you try and mold yourself into what they want, it's not going to work out. It can't, because at some point your energy says, nope, this is not it. However, you can do that to a point. You mold yourself, or you do things or have experiences that you want to. It's so simplistic, but you want that person to like you and to eventually love you. And we do tend to quiet what we really want to say sometimes, especially in the beginning. And that makes us not quite who we really are. And if we keep doing that, if we don't learn to let our true self, our true energy, our true personalities come through, it's going to weigh you down and it's going to cause problems. And you are not going to be happy. And then that other person is not going to be happy. Look at the relationships you've been in or that you currently are in. Are you quieting yourself because of that person or for that person? That might be the better way to say it. I really truly believe there's a little bit of that happens. And hopefully as you grow and learn to bring your true self out, you're still going to be okay with each other and more than okay with each other. I know I'm more than okay with my husband. We are good. And we are not the same people we were when we got married. So there's that. So the relationships, and it could be friend relationships too. Maybe you have a friend group where you are the quiet one. You don't voice your opinion because you're afraid the others aren't going to want to. Or maybe some other people in the group have really strong personalities and you don't want to compete with that. So you protect yourself by being quiet. Another way that maybe I learned to quiet my voice is in my nursing career. As I became a nurse and was learning how to be a nurse, I was very task oriented. I actually started with a technical degree, which eventually I got my bachelor's in it. But the technical degree is basically you learn the skills, and there's a little bit of why you're doing the skills. Of course, you need to know that. But it's very task oriented. You know how to care for your patients. You know how to give your meds, all the physical things that you need to do, a little bit of psychological stuff. You're so focused on learning how to take care of patients. But if you make a mistake, someone could die. And that's a big responsibility. So trying to keep that in mind and learning something new, of course, my priority is not going to be on standing up for myself, focusing on myself. I'm focusing on caring for other people. And I suspect maybe teachers would be kind of similar to this. Any of these helping professions, not focusing on yourself is pretty normal, I would say. I would believe. And if you disagree with me, send me a text. You can talk to Kim in the show notes. I'd love to have a conversation about that. So learning how to take care of people as a nurse, at first, I didn't question a lot. I did what I was supposed to do because I had, the hospitals that I worked in, the doctors that I worked with. There was a hierarchy for sure. And so that kind of kept me quiet. There was no focus on me, which is as it should be at that point. Except for that one patient who started this whole "it's not just you" journey. And you've heard me talk about that before, so I won't go into that. But that actually happened early in my career, and it just it just didn't resonate with me until recently. And I've talked about that before, and we won't go deeper into that now. But and then something else that has happened with my kids, you probably all know I have twin daughters, and one of them came out of the closet in 2017. And this is a story I've only shared maybe once or twice with people. And I just recently realized what happened in the situation, but you'll hear more about this coming up. This is going to be something I do talk about more because it so relates to what I'm doing now. But when she came out, I told, of course, you tell your um, friends and family, of course, and a couple people, before I could even tell one of them what I was going to say, she said something along the lines of, I know what you're going to say. I know what you're going to tell me. And that just, that made me mad, first of all. And I'll come back to that. So another person said, oh, I knew it all along. I knew it a long time ago. And it took me, well, probably took me 9 years to figure out why that made me so upset and why I was angry about it. I never said anything to those two people. I didn't, go stomping my feet off or anything because I couldn't figure out why it made me so upset. Why was I angry about that? At first I chalked it off to they must think that I didn't know, and I did. So maybe I was upset that they thought they knew something that I didn't, which was not the case. But I just thought, okay, well then maybe that's it. Anyway, what it boils down to is I needed to say those words and I didn't get to say them in those two instances. Now you would think, well, I had to say it to a lot of other people. I've said it many times since, but those two times just gnawed at me. And I finally figured it out earlier this year. The things that were said when I was trying to tell what I needed to say, I didn't get to say it. I needed to say it. My voice was taken away. They didn't mean to. They didn't mean to make me upset or hurt me. But I lost my voice. I did not get to say the words that I needed to say. And now that I know that, first of all, there's a big weight that's been lifted off. Like, oh, I finally figured it out. And now, moving forward, I will never let that happen again. That will never happen again. I will not let my voice be taken away by anyone. Saying those words makes me feel so free and determined, and it helps me realize that that is one of my purposes here on this earth is to help other women in that same way, to help them when they are in a situation where someone or something, maybe even themselves, are trying to take their voice away, trying to make them smaller, trying to shrink them, minimize them. They're not going to do it. They're not going to let that happen. They're going to stand in their own power. They're going to say what they need to say and be strong and take up their space and say, heck no, you're not taking that away from me. I'm here and I have something to tell you. And I have great things to tell you, and I'm going to keep telling you. So that is the core of what I'm doing right now. I feel like I still have a little ways to go. There are still times where, depending on who I'm with and what I'm doing, I still feel a little bit like I need to shrink back a little bit. But very few times, very few. It's becoming much easier for me to take up my space and say what I need to say. And don't you want that too? Can you hear it in my voice? Can you feel that passion that I have? I want you to have that too. And that's why I created my It's Not Just You workshop that's coming up in a couple weeks. We are going to follow JUST. We're going to just notice those words and things we do to make ourselves smaller. We're going to understand why without blaming anyone or judging anyone. And then we're going to shift our stories that we tell ourselves. And then the last week, we're going to take up space. We're going to use tools, and you're going to walk away with things that you can do to arm yourself. I don't want to say arm, maybe arm yourself isn't the best word, but to prepare yourself. So when those situations do come up where you're going to kind of shrink back and protect yourself, nope, hey, I'm here. I'm going to do this, and I'm taking up my space. It's going to be amazing, and I cannot wait for you to join me. This is in person right now, but I will be working on an online version of it, and that will be out very soon. So if you're listening to this from California or Florida or England or somewhere else, hang tight. I will be creating a version that you can also do from your own home if you would like to. So I'm just really excited about this. And I know it's the first step in a really big movement identity for midlife women. So I hope that you will find the show notes, find the link to register, do it soon because it is coming up very quickly. And I just want you to have what I'm feeling. I want you to have this, this passion and this purpose and the confidence and the courage to take up your space because you deserve it. You are worth it. And I don't want anyone else to take your voice ever again. All right. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with someone who you think could use the messages. And if you haven't yet, I would love to have you leave me a review on Apple or Spotify. I really appreciate that. And it helps other people see the podcast. So it is not something I just say for fun. It's something that actually will help. If you have any comments or questions, go down to the show notes where it says talk to Kim and just click on that and you can send me a text message. Actually, it's a message. I don't know why they call it a text message because it goes to my little website where my podcast lives on Buzzsprout. So I can see the message. All right. I hope you all have a beautiful week. Until next time, take care of your beautiful self.